Experience relativity.
Experience relativity.
Experience relativity.
Thank you for coming back to the second segment of the Experience Relativity podcast. I am Shelton Smith, your host, aka P. Winslow Lee. That's P period. Winslow _ Lee on IG. And you can find the podcast at experience _ relativity on Instagram and at X Relativity on YouTube. Now we're jumping into the second segment of our mini series on love for the podcast. We are wrapping up the month of April. We wrote out these April showers and we're discussing some of the things that we fall back on to get us through those periods of shower. And love was a hot topic as I explored this theme of April showers. Now, we have been emphasizing through this series that on your worst day, you are still the best you. You're the only you. And you are the only one that can love the way that you love. So that's why we wanted to give some light to love in this mini series for this month. Now, I'm excited to do this segment because it's got to do with music. And music is one of my favorite things. It is one of my favorite things. And I feel like there's always a song, an album, or a soundtrack to life. So this segment allows me to explore one of my favorite artists. He has solidified himself as one of my favorite artists in the R&B space because honestly, I don't think I've liked anyone in the R&B space for quite a while. I had given up on R&B. I was definitely not feeling any of the new school young R&B dudes that's, doing whatever they do. So, no hate or shade to whatever they do, but it just wasn't my thing and I wasn't into it until Sir released the album Heavy. Like, when I look back over my wrap up for 2024, Sir was at the top of the list. I think almost the whole album was up there as far as the tracks that I had played all year. So I felt like the timing is always right for everything. And the release of Heavy Deluxe, The Light, which is the latest album from Sir, which added a handful of new tracks, I was like, man, I want to play with music again. I had done a few episodes previously on Killer Mike's album, the 3-time Grammy winner, Michael. Love that album and still owe that album a few more episodes to explore each of the tracks. But before we get back to that, I want to dive into Heavy Deluxe, The Light. So this episode is going to be a bit of a listening party. So we'll spend some time listening to these tracks. It's 6 tracks to be exact. And we'll play through the tracks. Excuse me. We'll play through the tracks. And then, I want to give you the thoughts that this album provoked because I am a lyrics listener. And I'm going to, in the video, I'm going to probably find a way to add in a pane or maybe a window, excuse me, a window in window. I forgot what those things are called. A picture in picture. That's what they call them. A picture in picture that has the lyrics to the song so you can see the lyrics to the song. But I want to explore the thoughts that the song provoked and kind of give you my take on the song. So for all of the copyright violations, this is a critique. I am critiquing the album. So once I post this episode, hopefully it doesn't get pulled down, and that I have some protection for copyright. But without further ado, we're going to get into some of these tracks. So I'm going to play through the song, but I will stop the song kind of when I get to some of those thought provoking points in the song. So that way we can vibe together, and then I could give you some of my thoughts that I have on the song. So without further ado, this is the first track that we will get into. It is entitled The Light, and it is by Sir off of Heavy Deluxe, The Light.
Wanna feel good, never been here. The sky is so clear, the stars are aligned. Everything's fine, it's blowing my mind. I'm getting this look. All of the rules we're breaking, ain't nothing by the book. We're living in affirmations. As I step into the light, oh, I'll be letting go of all my cares. I've been holding back for all these years. Now I'm ready for the sunshine. If I take this leap of faith, oh, I know one day I'ma see the sky. I had to fall before I learned to fly, but now I'm ready for the sunshine.
Now, I paused it there because I figured it was a good place to pause it. But in between the first and second verse, this song, The Light, really, for me, when it comes to love, I just think about how the song starts out in such a positive place. And I think that is a good juxtaposition to the last album, which is Heavy. And I don't think it's any, you know, it's not missed on me to play on words that it's Heavy Deluxe, The Light. But this song just kind of pops out immediately with positivity at the beginning of the album, like when things finally come together. And I don't know about the listeners out there, but I have a feeling that most people have gone through some relationships or situationships or things that just never went away. And, you know, sometimes they don't last. And sometimes you experience these points where you feel like it's all coming together. And all of the things that you have dealt with in that relationship, situationship, whatever it was, may have all been worth it at this moment when it feels like things are coming together. So that's the first thing that it kind of provoked this song, like the feeling or sentiment that the song kind of gives. And just getting into some of the lyrics that kind of discuss the idea of like loving you in your process, that things didn't go by any book or rule. You just had to go through your process. And it's important that even in those moments that things are not necessarily exactly as they should be, like that idea that I have been holding back for all these years, and I'm going to stop doing that, and that I'm going to kind of embrace who I am and let myself out, because as we've been talking about in this series, on your worst day, you're still the best you. So you always have to be conscious and in a position to let you shine through, because that's the only way you can stay in the right place or in the right state. So let's keep pushing. And that concludes the light. And I left off talking about how you have to love you in your process, because in the chorus he talks about that process, but then gets to a point of kind of talking about even when it's right, like once you make that decision to kind of let yourself out and just be you and kind of move forward into your space, the space that only you can occupy, the life that only you can have because it was meant for you, there's still a feeling of risk even when it's right. And then also the idea that you cannot fear where you've never been. Now just think about it like this. Whatever, lifelong relationship that you may eventually get into, you have never been there before. And every step of your life as you continue with that human being will be places that you have never been. You can't be afraid to go there. And that, I mean, even for me, as I grow and develop as a person who is capable of having a long-term relationship with someone, and I'm 41 now, and just really feeling like I'm progressing to this point where I'm capable of doing this, fear's a part of that. Like, there is still a leap of faith that happens that says that, you know what? I may not ever be perfect, but I may be right to go forward. I may be able to go forward, but I have to take that step and be willing to learn. He also talks about how, basically he thought it was as good as it gets, but it keeps getting better. That's stepping into something like, I don't know, you may be in a place in your life where things are good, but they're as good as you've ever known. Like, you didn't know that things could be any better. I think about that, like growing up in the projects or something like that. Like when you growing up in a place where the standard or the bar is somewhere, and then you make a friend and you experience something outside of your norm. And then you're like, man, I didn't even know people live like this. It's the same thing. Like, you just didn't know how much better it could get, but you can't know until you start to go. So that fear, you got to kind of let go of that fear. You got to be able to push past that fear, especially in love, because love is something that kind of brings out the protectiveness in all of us. Like, nobody wants to get hurt when it comes to love. So everybody, kind of develops this thick skin eventually, and then almost develops the fear of being hurt again, because we know how bad it hurts when you open yourself up and you're vulnerable in loving, and then you get hurt. And I think Sir does an amazing job in, at least, like I said, I've started to listen to more of his past music. I tried not to dive too deeply in and then taint my image of, what I have been hearing and the romanticism that I've fallen in love with in the more recent albums. But the further I go back, the further I see the same thing, that it's always been a very vulnerable human being that is sharing his stories and his experiences of love. Though they may not be perfect, though they may not fit the paradigm of most people, they fit for his life and the experience that he needed to gain. Wrapping up on this song, the last thing, Heavy, the love, he has both heavy and light. And I think most people at some point in time will experience the weight of love at some point in time. And there are loves that have a tendency to weigh on you so much more than others. And I think there's the organic love when it's, harmonious and there is symmetry, and the love that is kind of in tune and aligned with you, it doesn't feel like a weight. So that's what I thought was present in the song as well, especially moving from the previous album, Heavy, into, light. So we're going to move on to the next track, which is Back.
So, let's pick up where we left off. What's on your mind?
Oh, something's holding me back. Something's holding me back. Back. Something's holding me back. Back. Something's holding me back. Back. Maybe it's all my new friends. Maybe it's the ones that say they need me the most. Maybe it's out of my hands, and I don't stand a chance against the path that I chose. Something's holding me back. Something's holding me back. Back. Something's holding me back. Back. Something's holding me back. Back.
Now we jump in with the obvious. I mean, I think the title's self-explanatory, but the thoughts that came to me as I was listening to this was actually a line that I've shared with you guys before that I had written some time ago. And the line, well, the rhyme was, if life was a bitch, then we dated and broke up and I dated the bitch I created. And that, the idea that something is holding you back. And for some people, it starts with the idea that life is against you. Life is holding you back. Life is keeping you from being, or doing whatever it is that you want to do or be, or whatever the case may be. So that's what inspired that line from me. If life was a bitch, then we dated and broke up and I dated the bitch I created. Like that idea that, one, you got to do something about it. You got to break up with that life that was a bitch and then create the bitch that you going to date if life is always going to be a bitch. So the other thing that I thought about when I was listening to this is, something's holding me back. And on my current journey into entrepreneurship, one of the things that I have really started to learn, and it has become blatantly obvious to me, that everything, and I say this, and I mean this with every fiber of my being, everything is holding you back that is not pushing you forward. If it is not pushing you forward, then it is holding you back. That's people, that is things, that is expectations, that is baggage, that is ideas, mindsets, like all of that. If it is not pushing you forward, then it is holding you back. He said, I don't stand a chance against the path that I chose. It made me think about the challenges that we choose and how we chose the challenge. But that same challenge that we chose can sometimes make us feel unworthy of progression on that path. So I don't think I'm the only person that experiences that. I think he clearly is saying that too in the track. And I think that's something to explore when you explore the idea of what is holding you back. Because, yeah, it always feels like something's holding you back. It does. But let's continue with the exploration of what it might be for Sir.
Is it the Little brody that asked for a loan, he been worried about making it out on his own. Or is it the cousin that ain't taking care? Learn helping him, isn't quite helping him. Is it the dope man that come to collect? Depending on me to keep on coming correct. Or is it the best friend that don't really mind? Sneaking in the excitement, cause his love is blind. Is it the women who see me a mile away? Close the gap, hoping that maybe we'll fly away. Is it the pressure to honor my family? Am I who I am because I feel like I have to be? Or is it me? Me and my addictive personality. Wasted all my time defying gravity. Now I'm stuck here, out of luck here, barely free. Something's holding me back. Something's holding me back. Back. Something's holding me back. Back. Something's holding me back. Back.
Yeah, it was a lot there. It was a long list of things that could potentially be holding Sir back. I want to talk about something in particular that I say is kicking my own ass. I used to speak about this a lot in corporate America, especially in the companies that I worked for, who were companies that had experienced a lot of success historically and recently. And I used to say something to them all the time. What do you think has more gravity, your past failures or your past successes? And usually people would raise their hand predominantly for your past failures and say that your past failures have more gravity. But I position to them that it's kind of the opposite. The things that you make mistakes on or fail with, you will naturally be inclined to move away from those things. But the things that you are successful at are the things that you seem to not be able to get away from, especially when your next level doesn't really depend on you staying the same. It depends on you doing something differently. So I positioned that the gravity of your success was higher than the gravity of your failures. Then we would typically talk about something called escape velocity. And I won't go too far into that on the podcast because usually when I would talk about this in meetings with people, their eyes would glaze over. But I think escape velocity is just an amazing analogy for human beings, good human beings getting better or going from good to great. And that's the idea that whatever you were good at it. And who doesn't like positive reinforcement, which has a tendency to kind of keep you in the groove of doing things that way and make you risk averse when it comes to trying something different. Now, let's say you want to reach your next level, your whatever, you want to level up. In order to level up, you have to push yourself out of the comfort zone. And if your successes have more gravity than your failures, then your success is going to be what tries to hold you in the same position. Now, escape velocity is the speed that you have to reach to to escape the gravity of an object. Just like a rocket ship has to reach a certain speed to be able to get into orbit, it's got to escape. I cannot get that word right. Escape the gravity of Earth enough so that it is not pulled back to the surface of the Earth or pulled back to your last place of success. So sometimes we kick our own ass and bring us back to places that we were when we could have gone further. We could have gone higher. We could have leveled up. but you've got to move fast enough. You've got to reach what is called escape velocity. And typically those who are able to move fast enough to reach escape velocity, the crazy thing about the drive that's required for you to move at that speed is that same drive that drives you forward makes you always feel like you are behind. And I think that's crazy. I think it's crazy that the same thing that pushes you forward is what makes you feel behind all the time. Let's finish up with Back.
Is it the money I don't wanna spend? Bank account getting too thick and now I can't pretend like it. Is it way better than what I imagined? Elevated again before I knew what happened. Is it the bitter karma that I know is coming? The price I pay for going all or nothing? Or is it the way I feel whenever I'm alone? Thinking about where I'll be headed when I'm dead and gone? Or is it me and my addictive personality? Wasted all my time defying gravity. Now I'm stuck here, out of luck here, barely free. Something's holding me back. Something's holding me back. Something's holding me back.
Now, to wrap this up, I want to jump back into something that you guys should be familiar with, and that is exploring the space between us. That's the whole idea of the Experience Relativity podcast. So, I want to talk about exploring the space between us when it comes to Back, because exploring the space between us, that us sometimes can just be you. Exploring the space between you, between versions of you, and working to understand what is between you now and the you that you want to be. And also reflecting upon the you used to be. That's a lot of yous. The you used to be. And the you that you are now. So it's worth exploration of both of those spaces, the space from the past to make sure that you understand how you were able to overcome that thing, and, the space that you're looking to get into in the future. What is between the you now and the you that you want to be in the future? So next up, we have the track No Good. So we'll get into that.
Nah, it's you.
How?
I swear it's you.
No, it's you.
Can't be me.
No, you know it's you.
Better hold on for your life as we ride this way. Ain't a fair fight when your heart isn't mine to say. Already leaning on the edge as we dare to fall. I can't believe that I'm letting you risk it all. Novocaine for the weak heart. No matter how we started, we found joy in the pain, even though it's in vain. Still incomplete, so many broken pieces, but we didn't plan on fixing nothing. We've been up to no good. I love the way you feel. No, this ain't how love looks, but I pray you love me still. We gave in to desire. No, we couldn't wait our turn. We've been playing with fire. Now we gotta let it burn.
No Good. It's so self-explanatory when you listening to the lyrics of the song. There were three things that this song kind of brought up to me, and it is wrong rights, and not rights as in RIGHTS, but wrong rights, like rites of passage. Almost as if the the wrongs are necessary. I mean, and maybe it's not for some people. I think, yeah, there's probably some people out there who don't go through any of it. They were the model citizen. They, fall in love with their high school sweetheart and, always did everything right, and the relationship has been great, and they grew up together, and neither one of them ever did anything outside of, be good. But then there's a lot of people who the wrongs are a rite of passage in growing into these higher stages of development when it comes to relationships. And it sounds like this is one of those things. And like I said, I love the way that Sir presents these scenarios. Maybe it's the reflection, hindsight is 2020, but the idea that, I've been playing with fire, you know, and I like the way it burns. you know, yeah. These periods or these spaces or times when you are wrong or you're doing what is considered wrong, it doesn't necessarily, like, in those moments you don't necessarily feel that those things are wrong, and it kind of pushes you to continue down this path of wrong. But then coming to the conclusion when it's time to kind of put that away or stop doing that and, like, level up, like, grow up, understand how to do it differently. The other thing that it brought to mind was kind of the rules of relationships, the rules of, like, it made me think of, like, when are we exclusive? Like, those types of rules. Like, when am I not allowed to talk to anyone else or see anyone else? And how clear do we get about that? And kind of the rules that get set in relationships. How do we get to a point where, the rules are clear? Because we kind of feel our way through relationships, and that, I think that's kind of where things get off in love sometimes, is that we are riding a wave of feeling and assuming that someone is experiencing it in the same way, and as they experience certain things, that certain things become rules and expectations when they haven't necessarily clearly been communicated. And then by the time you get to that point, one or the other person may be doing things that are out of bounds for the other just because that's the way that they saw it. So the idea of what's good and what's not good. So I'll let it ride. We only got a minute and 20 seconds left of this track.
I'm not a bad guy, I just keep bad company. What do you want from me? She where she wanna be. I bet you wondering if she isn't over him while she laying under me, acting like she loving me. That's what you get when a heart is neglected, isn't protected. I won't respect it. You turning her into my favorite bad habit, but I can't be mad at it when she looking back at it. Novocaine for a week off. No matter how we started, we found joy in the pain, even though it's in vain. Still incomplete, so many broken pieces, but we didn't plan on fixing nothing. We've been up to no good. I love the way you feel. No, this ain't how love looks, but I pray you love me still. We gave in to desire. No, we couldn't wait our turn. We've been playing with fire. Now we gotta let it burn.
Back to the point about rules too. I want to bring that back up only because what are the rules once the relationship starts to deteriorate? What are the rules when the relationship isn't going well? And I know the answer to that question is crystal clear for some people, as in, hey, gotta let it burn, gotta cut them off, da 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 da, gotta cut her off, gotta get out of the situation. Yeah, if only it was that perfect and that clean for everyone. And in the track, he's kind of talking about how, someone else messing up again, this idea of not being good in a relationship pushed her into his lap for them only to turn around and do something that wasn't good either, or at least seen as good at that time. The last thing that this track kind of inspired from me thought wise was of actually another song. And it I won't go into that because the focus is on what we're listening to. But there is a song called Everything I'm Not. And that's what I think about when I think about no good. Like when a person is making these mistakes or aware that they are doing the wrong thing, I could be good. I could have made better decisions, but everything I'm not, everything that I didn't do, made me everything I am. So as we go through our process, all of those things that you did in the past that weren't necessarily the best things, ultimately hopefully they don't do too much damage to other people. But those things are also what make you who you are. So whoever eventually gets you in that right state, without those things that you did that were not good, as in no good, they made you who you are when you were good. Now, next track, Lose It All.
Ready to lose it all. Ready to lose it all. Ready to lose it all. It's different than the last time. Romeo forgot all he knew. This ocean is deeper than blue. Is it me or is it you? Used to controlling the tempo. Can you bring me up to speed? How can you make it so simple? When did you become all I need? Oh, I'm starting to feel, starting to fall. Didn't think it ever mattered at all. But now you got me checking out early, waking up late, dreaming of the day you call. I'm ready to lose it all. Ready to lose it all. Ready to be the one who doesn't need a thing, only your love. I'm ready to lose it all. Ready to lose it all. Ready to be the one who doesn't need a thing, only the love you bring.
All right, lots of thoughts here. Lots of thoughts here. And this is a conversation I actually have with my son all the time about soccer, which is one of his current aspirations. And, things change. So he's always entitled to change. But I think one thing that's consistent is a question that I ask. And I think this song kind of digs into this is what percentage of your current life are you willing to give up in pursuit of your dream? What percentage of your current life, your current state, the things you enjoy now, are you willing to give up to have your dream? So Lose It All kind of positions it in a great way. Like, I am ready to lose or to give up everything. 100% of the state that I am in now to have my dream going forward. I want to lose it all. Like, I want to not need anything. I want to not need anything except the love that you give me. So that concept, I mean, for me, it's a very powerful concept because I think in certain states in my life, I always used to be like, there's always something better. There's always something better. I'm always in pursuit of whatever's better, you know. And that doesn't really work in love for me or with me being a person who is thinking like that. Because if we're all thinking about the fact that there's always something or someone better, then how do we ever build anything with who we're with? Because every time you face anything with someone, you're immediately going to be like, there's always something better. So I think you have to lose that part of, you, if you're the kind of person who thinks and does things like that. You got to lose all of that distraction, like everything outside of what it is that you want, like that future state that you want to be in, that future you, that future relationship, whatever that may be. And I think one of the things that shows up too, and again, I talk to my son about this with lots of things, but not necessarily relationships, but I'm sure it will apply when the time comes. But the idea that it's simple, but not easy. Like, yeah, giving up everything and only needing one thing. Yeah, it sounds simple, but it's not easy when there is a plethora of distraction or options or whatever when it comes to relationships, when it comes to the people. So, like, again, Sir gets into this pretty blatantly and clearly that, hey, I did a lot. There was a lot of people and a lot of experiences, and I was ripping and running and all this types of stuff. But I'm ready to give all of that up for this. I'm ready to lose all of that. And that's oftentimes risking it all is like considered to be going after like a reckless pursuit. But the interesting thing about it is here, like, risking it all is the opposite in this song. It's like to lose it all or to risk it all of that other stuff, all of those, other distractions, all that kind of stuff. I'm ready to risk all of that for you. And I think that's a powerful statement in this song.
I'm fighting in vain. If loving you is crazy, I'm going insane. I thought nobody could tame me. It can't be. Found somebody who can make me the best me. Love was a game. I used to love to play. Now it isn't the same. Got me out here trying to play my part. I'm trying not to break your heart. Starting to feel, starting to fall. Didn't think it ever mattered at all. But now you got me checking out early, waking up late, dreaming of the day you call. I'm ready to lose it all. Ready to lose it all. Ready to be the one who doesn't need a thing, only in love. I'm ready to lose it all. Ready to lose it all. Ready to be the one who doesn't need a thing, only the love you bring.
There's a saying that I have heard, and it is that the person who has the most power in a relationship is the person who cares the least. Some people say the person who's willing to walk away. But I think in this case, again, it's a clever way of flipping some very prevalent statements like that one, whoever cares the least. But he's also saying, like, I want to care the least about anything outside of this. And the last, thing I'll say on this song, in my kind of analysis critiquing of the song is the idea that there is leverage required to kind of break through to the best me. Like, you know, he makes a statement in the song saying he finally found someone that makes him be his best me. I think for some people, and I do think, like, you know, my romantic experiences have been very similar to like Sir's experience to some degree. I'm not famous. I don't have access or money in the same way. But I just think my experiences of trying to grow and develop into the best version of me, leverage is oftentimes required. Like almost like life has to have a leverage that either I, you know, break through or I risk losing something. And that I think it's like, again, that concept of losing it all. Like either I'm a break through to becoming the best me that I can be, or I'm gonna lose what I want to keep. Because eventually you have to put things like on a scale, and there's the thing that you want to keep and there's the thing that you wouldn't hurt so badly if you lost it. Not that you don't want to keep it. Some part of you desires to keep it, but then there's a bigger part of you that desires to keep something different. So you have to end up sacrificing the one that you want less, the one that you are not ready to lose. So you can lose all else, but you're not going to lose it all. You're going to keep that one piece that you're willing to sacrifice for. So that's Lose It All. We got 2 more tracks to go. I hope you are enjoying my take on this, but I also want to hear what you have to say about the analysis of the tracks, or what you picked up from the lyrics, or what you think that Sir might have been talking about some of these lyrics. What part resonates with you? But I think, again, this guy does an amazing job at painting some of the ugliest situations in romance just so beautifully in song. And it's also relatable, especially, again, I think he says a lot from the male perspective in these situations. But I think it's very relatable for men, but I also think that it's relatable for those who are in a place of wanting change in their life. And it's like, I get it, bro. I was doing it too. I was doing this and this and that. And, you know, there was a person who made a difference for me that motivated me enough to change something about me so that I could do something better for myself and for that person. So here we go. Moving on from the past, let's get into Out of My Hands.
My love is like an ocean, endless and open. But what I found is mostly I can't swim good. Traveled on emotions, made a lot of bad starts, broke hearts, even when I'm in good. Maybe I'll wake up and she'll be the one. Maybe one day or someday I won't wanna run. Maybe the sun won't come down on the truth. Maybe I'll be bad to you. I may never be the man that you deserve. We can try to make it work, but we're taking a chance. Never said that we can't let go of the past. Wish I could take it back, but it's out of my hands.
This was the first track on this album that I absolutely fell in love with. I love this track. I love this track because I can relate so much to this track. I can relate so much to this track. My love is like an ocean, endless and open. But what I've found is that most of y'all can't swim good. Like, that is my favorite line off of this entire album. And I don't think I could have connected harder with any like any statement on this album. I feel like I am a person with a lot of love to give. And I think that there are many people, when you have an abundance of love to give, there are many people who see that. Almost like, let's say it was a fountain gushing with water in the middle of a desert. And of course, when you see it, you are, you drink from it. You drink until you can't drink anymore. You're well hydrated, but the well is still, the fountain is still overflowing with water. And you couldn't drink it fast enough if you wanted to. You couldn't drink it all if you wanted to. Now the fountain wants the water to be consumed. It wants to give its water to as many people as possible. My love is like an ocean, endless and open. But what I found, most of y'all can't swim good. The fountain is pouring water and you come and take your sips and you get full of it and you love it. And, the fountain is so good and you can't live without the fountain. But you also can't satisfy the fountain because the fountain is here to give water and you can only take so much of this water. So the fountain gives water to everybody who comes to the fountain. And now you mad because you loved the fountain because the fountain gave you water, but now you mad because the fountain gave someone else water too. You mad because you discovered the ocean and you enjoyed swimming and that's why you fell in love with the ocean. But then other people are swimming in the ocean too and now you're mad. But like you said, my love is like an ocean, endless and open. But what I've found, most of y'all can't swim good. The idea of being an ocean is good until you find out most people can't handle like the ocean. They can't handle being in the ocean, but they want to. They swear they want to. But you have learned over time that despite their strong desire to want to be in the ocean, they can't swim well enough to be in the ocean. And that's a problem. He says also in this song, and matter of fact, I'll hold this point and I'll let you hear the rest of the song and then I'll finish with this point on this song.
I remember flying, scrolling through the sky when I was shot down. That shit didn't feel good. Don't know where I landed. Found out I was stranded. Broke down. Hoping it was still good. Maybe I'll wake up and it'll be the one. Maybe someday or one day I won't wanna run.
So my last point on this track that I think he was talking about, or it's a concept that I like that I think the lyrics speak to, is being good enough. And like, I think we can all accept that nobody's perfect. I think it's important that you accept, especially in love. I think it's important to accept the fact that nobody's perfect. But is anybody good enough? Anyone? I think there are people who are good enough. And I think in a lasting relationship, that's all you ever going to be. You are always going to be good enough. And I think that because to me, the expression, I may never be the man that you deserve, is saying to the right woman, you deserve any and everything and all in a perfect person because you are perfect for and to me. So I may never be the man that you deserve, but I want to be good enough in every moment that we are together. And I want to make it my life work to be good enough in every moment that we have. So that way you choose me every day. You choose to stay here with me. You choose to continue to grow with me, and you choose to spend the rest of your life with me. I want to be good enough for that and allow it to be my life's work that you choose me every day. At least in the relationship aspect. There'll be plenty of other things that fit into your bucket of life work. Speaking of life, there's death. And there's sin. And what happens when those two collide? The last track of the 6 tracks from The Light that I'd like to go through with you is Sin Again. Enjoy.
I don't understand because every time you just don't give a fuck. That's what you're telling me right now because you're so fucking selfish. Are you kidding? You could have just I just need you to come home. Baby, come home. Please. Come home.
I'm guilty as charged, not here to make an appeal. You know where we are, I already know how you feel. You were hoping we'd fight, but fighting will just make it worse. I guess it feels right, finally putting you first. Someone call a warden, say I don't deserve a pardon. Baby, I've been in the game so long I wouldn't even want it. The crime was commitment, no one ever saw me coming. I can't act like I deserve your forgiveness when I done it. Maybe this is just my way of saying that I love you. And even if I wasn't, I'm always thinking of you. Solitary as confinement, but that's just what it came to. I could never blame you, but I won't say I'll never sin again. Don't know how to mend your broken heart. Ain't no going back to where we started. I guess it is what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is.
So Sin Again, in this song, I mean, who isn't going to sin again? Like, we are all human beings. And I think it's an honest thing to say that I won't say I'll never sin again. I think it's a very honest thing, and it kind of grounds the idea that continuing to deal with me, you will be continuing to deal with a human being. And I know a lot of people don't like that. I mean, I have had this conversation with many, many people, not about not sinning again, but just the idea that you're dealing with human beings. So if you're going to play the game of love with human beings, you have to understand that you are dealing with human beings. Go back to the second episode of this podcast that I ever recorded. Go back to the episode where I talked about being human and training for the marathon, Get Wilder. My definition of a human being, right, or me expecting a human being to be human is this. Mother Teresa was a human being. Adolf Hitler was a human being. I just expect a human being to be somewhere between those two ends of the spectrum on any given day. So nothing you can do surprises me, which means that not much you can do can really hurt me either. It's just a thing that you do, and I have to understand how I'm going to process that and move forward. I only expected you to be a human being, so I don't judge you for being exactly what I expected you to be. The other thing about this track is polyrealities. Polyrealities. So what I mean by this is multiple realities, not necessarily polyamory, but dealing with multiple people can be a part of this as well. Because the idea that you'll never sin again, right? It also depends on who you are talking to and what position they are in. And it's very interesting to me how people can move from one position in a relationship to another position in a relationship. I'll give an obvious example of a person being cheated on and then being with someone who is cheating. Like, you could be in that position of the person who is being cheated on, and you are devastated and you are upset. You could never understand why someone would go about things in that way. But then somewhere in the future, you fall in love with someone, right? Like, okay, whatever the situation may be. And later on, there is a complexity in the situation that this person has been involved with multiple people. And there may be love between you two. But now you are on the opposite end of that spectrum, and you are the person who is enabling another person to cheat. So what side of the spectrum you are on? Like, what is the sin? Like, you may feel in an instance that this person really wants to be with you and that they're making their move towards you, and you don't feel like y'all pursuing that relationship is the sin. But then when you were the person being cheated on, you felt like that person and what they were doing with someone else was the sin. So if I find a woman I want to be with for the rest of my life, and I've been dealing with you, going and being with her to you is a sin. To you, because of the position that you are in. But for her, for me to interact with you is the sin. So it depends on what position you are in. And, it's kind of like the whole idea of experiencing relativity anyway. So sin depends on which skin you are in, is all I'm saying. But I know there are places, things, commandments, whatever, that make things definitive, but we are also human beings and we have human experiences, and they're not always as clean, cut, and dry.
Won't be getting visitation for my good behavior. Just forget the deposition. I was never trying to save her. Testifying didn't make the situation better. I just need her to remember she was happy when I met her. See, I'm afraid she would stay if I let her. And I'm afraid she'll get better if I leave her. I can't admit this isn't how I wanna treat her. All I really wanna tell her is I need her. But
that might have been one of the realest relationship bars out there that I've ever heard. That's why I say this man brought me back to R&B. He brought me back to R&B. See, I'm afraid she would stay if I let her. And I'm afraid she'll get better if I leave her. Like, damn. I don't usually curse up here, but it's like, damn, that was a bar. The idea that you know yourself well enough to kind of know that you're the problem, and acknowledge that you are the problem and say that, you probably don't need to stay with me. In fact, I know you shouldn't stay with me, but I'm afraid that you would stay if I let you. Like, you would stay here with me knowing that I'm the problem. You know I'm the problem, and I know I'm the problem. But then at the same time, there is the same fear that you'll be even better if I leave you. Like, you will grow to be an even better person. And I already love you the way that you are, but you are going to get better. And maybe you won't even... you won't even care for me. I won't be your taste anymore. I won't be your speed anymore if you leave me. And that is something. You kind of get bound by those two fears. And then you operate off of fear. Check the previous episodes. Because I've talked about how sometimes you operate off of fear and it kind of pins you in a place. But yeah, you operate off of that fear and then you end up treating someone badly, and you're aware that you're treating them badly because, like you said, I can admit this isn't how I want to treat her. All I really want to tell her is I need her. Like, but I won't say I'll never sin again. Like, Jesus. Like a beautiful song, a beautiful way to sing about this, but it's like gut wrenching. And I can only imagine, like, specifically because the words are so fitting, for a woman who is going through this to hear and listen to this. Like, that is painful. But we'll let this ride out, and I will share one last story before I let you go. But I hope you enjoyed the album. I hope you go on and listen to the rest. If you haven't listened to Heavy, the original version, just play right on through, because the rest of this album is so good, so good, so good. And it's the same thing. It may be tough to listen to if you've been through some of this, specifically as a woman, but as a man, I think it's a great tool if you are in the right place and right mindset, not to glorify what the tracks kind of speak of, but to say that this was my journey. And like, oh man, I'm in the same place and I've done some of the same things and I want to continue to grow in this way. But let this ride.
I can feel the walls that closing in. I can see the sun is going down. Understand I love to stay around. But it is what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is.
So yeah, that was the first 6 tracks off of the deluxe version of Heavy, The Light. So I hope you enjoyed those tracks. And like I said, I want to finish with a little story about love in general, especially from this perspective, the actions, the romance, the relationships, just gaining perspective. And this was truly a moment where I experienced relativity. So I was talking to someone who had a situation with their, at that time, ex. And it was, they had a kid with this person, and they had both kind of gotten to a point where they, well, for the most part, gotten to a point where they thought the relationship needed to end and that it was time for them to move on. They were still cohabitating, so the relationship was kind of weird and tense and like just every day in the house, the place that's supposed to be your sanctuary, your comfort zone. There was always like this brewing tension. So she was telling me about the sentiment she had being in the house every day, and it was kind of like just this constant being on edge and nervousness and walking on eggshells and doing everything you can to try to, I guess, prevent things from going left and just getting out of hand and arguing and fussing back and forth and all that stuff, and things just getting to their most negative state. So I was listening to this person talk, and from my position with this person, it really angered me to hear that she was dealing with this situation and that this person kind of had this effect on her. So it really kind of upset me, and it definitely made me have some kind of animosity towards the person that she was dealing with. Then one day, I had a conversation with someone about what it was like to deal with me during the period when we were dealing with each other in a similar situation. And damn near word for word, that person explained it the same way about dealing with me at that time in a similar situation. Now, if that's not experiencing relativity, I don't know what experiencing relativity is, because at one point I was on one side of an interaction, and I was upset at someone for doing something that I later found out, though it was not conscious or intentional, that I did the same thing too, or at least made them feel that way. So it could also be that the person that I am upset with in this other scenario is not 100% conscious that they are making that person feel that way. So here I am upset with someone who has only done or been exactly what I have done or been, but when I did it, I wasn't conscious of it. And my assumption and my judgment was that they were conscious that they were doing it to the other person. Maybe they had never heard that person share with them exactly how they feel, so they didn't know that that's what it was like to be in the house with that person at that stage in their relationship, going through that. So it was definitely an experience relativity moment for me. So I finished with kind of a question for you as a result of that. Like, have you ever found yourself on the wrong side of love with the right person, or on the right side of love with the wrong person? Because I think both of those situations can happen. And I think oftentimes, whatever position you end up in, you'll probably find yourself on the flip of that situation. And I wonder if you will take advantage of that as an opportunity to experience relativity, just like I did when I encountered a situation that was similar. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed the music. I hope you enjoyed my analysis and the thoughts that were provoked from the music. I would love to hear your feedback on my thoughts and what it provoked in you to hear those tracks and, those lyrics. But being here, you have done enough. I thank you for exploring the space between us via these cuts from this album. Your presence is always met with gratitude, as usual. And thank you for exploring the space between us with Experience Relativity. Love you.
Experience relativity.
Experience relativity.
Experience relativity.